clear here. Then we come to the climate, especially we're caring about temperature and precipitation. And you can see that the yearly average are almost the same for these two cities. But then the coldest monthly average is -4 in Tianjin, but 3 over 0. I mean 3 in Almere, so that means we have a colder winter. But then we have a much hotter summers. The average temperature is 26 degrees Celsius. But in Almere it's about 18. So you can see from this map that we have a very hot summer and very cold winter. I haven't found a proper diagram for the precipitation, but here you can see that, as I can explain, that the map, the precipitation here, 0 to 300 here, that is monthly precipitation. So in Almere, in the Netherlands, the rain is pretty much kind of averaging it. No, almost, yeah, even. It's pretty even. But in China, we're kind of facing a lot of problem about all the heavy storm during summertime, but then very dry seasons in the other times. So the yearly precipitation, the amount in Tianjin is a little less, but we have a very great amount of evaporation. So that's a big problem for northern part of China to face about water shortage. We're not known yet for Almere's preparation project. We will be doing the investigation. And here, let's talk about the geomorphology. The coastal area, flat. Yeah, you can see the altitude. We're a little above the sea level, but you're under the sea level, and that's really interesting. The slope is almost flat. I think Almere will be a little the same, but you can see that there are at least 6 meters of height difference in the whole area. So very interesting to see how the geomorphology are influencing the water system. And here in the Tianjin Aquascape project, you can see there was an old river, which is called the Ji River, or Jinjin River. But in the history, because people are trying to face with the flooding situation, so they cut the river. You can see there's a straight line here, and they want water to go directly to the sea, and here is the sea. You can see it's the outlet here. And then there is a lake. It was actually within these decades, about 40 years or 50 years, it has been functioned as a polluted water basin, or to collect those polluted water from the nearby industrial zones, which are mostly chemical plants. So it's very kind of heavily polluted here. But this old river bed is kept, and usually it's filled with water. So the current situation is like with huge water area, but very dirty here. So they are trying to, actually the Ecologically-friendly project is trying to cope with this polluted water and to purify it in the future. So here is the overall surface water plant condition here. And then we know that Almere is a new area which is filled. It's a land, no, it's not called landfill, but it's filled by man-made land, right? And there are 2 big lakes. So comparatively, we have larger water here, surface here, and Almere has 2 separate, but various moderate lakes. And about rain also, of course it's a repetitive information. We'll talk about it later. And because these two cities are near the sea, and now in Tianjin we're facing very severe saline shallow groundwater problem. And because of the land substance in the history, the salt water or the saline water has been infiltrated inside the groundwater system. So you can see this orange area are mostly saline water underground. And so it's more severe here. But basically it's the whole area, the water is saline. But for Almere, we don't know. But as we write the information that we know in the market media, it's almost kind of fresh water. So it's been interesting to see what is the difference and why. Okay, and now we come to the question posting part. So let's say it's not a lecture, but it's kind of first of all, for the planning concept, yeah, it's mostly concerned with the future plans. For Tianjin Eco City, it's not actually focusing on water system, although they're trying to emphasize on water factors. But basically, it's a kind of planning concept based on eco-cell, so-called eco-cell, which is a kind of social, spatial idea. And then with mass transit line, so kind of TOD project, Eco Valley, and together with cells. And now in the government, they also call it cells in Chinese, so we think it's a kind of influence. So it's mainly focusing on water conservation, recycling, and water as landscape. That's what we are thinking, but it's not as kind of the central concept. For Almere, we are not very sure, but we have some kind of a dissertation, right? That's a thesis. There's a thesis about Almere East. We think it's kind of a similar idea, but we hope that it's to know more about the key planning concept in this area. For Almere East, there's a concept of C2C, the cradle-to-cradle concept for a water system, and a closed city water system. So we think it's a very interesting concept for Almere, and we would like to compare these kind of different planning concepts and their future influence for the cities around. And for the surface water circulation, that you can see, in the future plan, the basic structure is called, in Chinese, okay, I translated directly, 1 island, 3 water, and 6 corridors. The 1 island means actually in the middle part, it's kind of isolated one to the other parts. So we call it 1 island. 3 water actually means one thing. One is the outer line of the bigger river, the large one. And then the interior part of the old riverbed. And here is a lake. That's three pieces of water body. And 6 corridors are a little more planned. There are 4 kind of water combined with green corridor penetrating the whole city. But then as a planned concept, it's also connected by these 2 points. This is the river connection point as the 2 corridors too. But basically, the surface water circulation kind of concept